Ken is working on it.
Oh, they should be on.
They're not on.
Is that switch flipped?
JC's gonna just make sure the switch is on.
Yeah, it should be on. Time out. Technical difficulties. All right, now they should be switched.
Yes.
Come on.
We're all good.
All right, had the verbal roll call, we'll have approval of minutes of the last meeting. Are there any comments from the board members? Everything okay on the meetings?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Yes. All in favor of the minutes from the last meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign? Okay, it's okay. Motion passes. Any old business remaining? None from any of the board members? All right, new business. We have a BZA application to consider tonight. And anyone who is going to speak, we have to swear in. So, can I do a group swear? Okay. Everybody who signed up to speak, plus the applicant, if you would please stand up. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God. Thank you. Please be seated. Okay, we're going to consider BZA application 2501. Ashley Jefferson requesting conditional use at 575 Holderman, the use of residence at a group home for adolescents. Would the applicant like to step up to the podium, please? State your name, please.
Hi, I'm Ashley Harrison.
Okay. Go ahead, let's, whatever you'd like to tell the board and the public.
So I am applying for the conditional use permit. My agency is Bridge of Care Group Home. We currently house 5 adolescent girls at another location. We are hoping to expand and add boys, hence at this property on Holderman Place. What we do, the children that we house are in custody of the state, the various counties, and we mostly place from Montgomery County. However, there are children that are sometimes placed from other counties within the state of Ohio. The situations of these children vary. Some are victims of neglect or abuse. Some have no one, no family. Some are removed from their homes for behavior issues or no one to care for them. We have our children under 24-hour supervision. There is one staff per 4 children in the home at all times. And we utilize community schools, they go to school. It's pretty much a family setting. We run the home very strictly, a lot of, security measures in place. I want to first start by saying that there's a big misconception that, it's horrible and these are just children running wild. That is not what happens. There is a long process of being licensed, and we do hold ourselves in the highest standard. And at the home that we are currently in the last 2 years, we have had no big incidents, nothing, nothing that warrants. What I'm looking at this paper that was given out, and if I can just answer some of this, so then when people speak, but I would just like to just kind of explain what I know people are going to have questions to. So the facts at the top about the Montgomery County housing, many group homes, very true. Emergency calls under community impact, those numbers in 2023 had probably very true. What I would like to point out is that all calls, there is protocol. And for instance, if a child, the difference in it being a family, if your teen is upset with you and leaves the house for an hour, it's okay. If our teen leaves the house for an hour, we have to call that child in the moment they're out of our supervision as AWOL. When they return, we have to call them back and say, this child has returned. Police do have to come out and take report. I will be transparent about that, but I'm explaining that to say that it can be misleading looking at the number of calls that law enforcement receives for these issues, as if there are big altercations and things like that. A lot of things have to be reported in our protocol. Group home residents accounted for 25% of juvenile criminal charges in the county. I don't know if that's true, but if it is true, that's still 75% of juvenile in the home of their families still having issues. The bigger issue is that the youth of today do need help. They do need structure, which we provide. Like I said, we supervise them 24/7. We put them in after-school supports. They're required to engage in therapy services and counseling, whether it be alone or with family. We have a licensed individual social worker in the home weekly providing group therapy as well. Noise and traffic, frequent visits from staff, caseworkers, emergency services, increased neighborhood congestion. Our home has a driveway. It's not, caseworkers do come in and visit the kids. It's if you have 4 kids in a house, which is usually the capacity, a caseworker has to do a monthly visit on their child and they will come visit and they can use our driveway. There's 1 staff member there at a time. We have a garage as well. It's not, we do not get congested. We do not take up street parking. We do not have several people in the house at all, a bunch of traffic, more noise. And then the strain on services with the law enforcement. Like I said, there are definitely times we do have to use law enforcement. Most of it being minor things like, hey, this child left and we need to report it and this child is back. For me and my agency, I do not typically keep children who AWOL frequently for long before saying that they do need another placement because I like to make sure we can supervise them. The impact on property values is false. These are articles very outdated, 2000, 1994. There is no evidence that having a group home would impact anyone's property value. I do suggest anybody concerned about that to just do the research. This is truly not true. Outside of our home, our current location with our girls is you don't know it's a group home unless you were in the board meeting in Dayton. And it's like 15 minutes from here. We are just a family setting. Our kids typically are not even roaming the neighborhood. We keep them busy, and like I said, they have strict rules and guidelines. And that is pretty much it. If anyone has any questions, I can answer them if I didn't cover something.
And the property that you are talking about, are you guys the owner of the property or what?
No, I do lease the property.
You lease it?
But we do have permission from the property manager to use that.
Questions? Melissa, do you have any questions?
Sorry.
Wow.
Yeah, and I haven't changed.
Any other questions?
I have just one on on this particular property or other properties, it's Bridge Care Home, Bridge of Care Group Home, do they rent other properties for this same owner? Do you
No.
know? They
No.
don't?
No, our other property that we have actually on their residence.
Okay.
I have a question here. How many people are on the board for the organization?
5,
5. Are any of them from New Lebanon?
no,
Not one.
no.
Okay.
Could we ask why you decided to choose New Lebanon?
To be quite honest, I was looking for something close to our current location, and it was really just about the house that I saw. and leasing that property, that would be a good fit for us. It's nice, it's spacious, and it's in a family area which we like to operate.
Now, have you guys signed the lease yet on the property?
Yes, we're moved in. I mean, I'm moved in, nothing, like, it's ready, but yes. I invested in the property, we did sign the lease in February.
Now, this home that you're proposing, is it, it's gonna be mixed, or is you gonna have boys and girls in
No,
there?
no. So, my plan was to house boys. However, I did receive information on Saturday and, apparently there's an issue with, a registered sex offender close by. When I received this information, I looked it up and the, victim in that case was a juvenile male. So I am willing to relocate our girls' home there and then place boys at our current location, but it will not be a mix of the two.
Okay.
You do not mix them.
So what you're saying is you may, if it's approved, you may transfer the girls to this location?
Correct, instead of the boys.
Actually, if it's approved in the documentation, it's been approved by the state, it says 5 females, it doesn't say anything about boys or transfers.
So that is for our current license. I have to gain this permit for the state to go back and amend the license and add the additional site, and at that time, they would add males.
Okay.
Okay. Right. Mr. Back, any questions?
I did some research myself, so.
Okay, any other questions from the board member? All right, here's what we plan to do. There's 11 people, so if you have any other comments now.
No.
Thank you. We may call you back. if we have
Okay, thank
questions. Thank you. There's 11 people signed up. You all have the opportunity to speak. It's about 3 minutes. We're not gonna budget at 3 minutes and 1 second or anything like that, but try and keep your comments to 3 minutes. And if a speaker has already made your comments, you're free to come up and make them again yourself. Or if you want to just come up to the podium and say, my comments have been made, but it's actually an opportunity to speak or something like that. So we will start out with,
Logan.
Evening, council.
Amy.
Go ahead and start.
Yeah,
Okay,
please.
so for those that don't know me, thank you for having me. I am Captain Logan Ogden, U.S. Air Force active. I say that not because I'm here on official business, because I'm not. My opinions and views do not reflect that of the Air Force, the DoD, or its entities. Miss Ashley Harrison, can you please confirm that we have never met? We have not. I tell you that because it gives you some insight into my background and what I care about. I'm a leader, I'm a mentor, and I'm an instructor. I currently teach 91 civil engineers at the Air Force Institute of Technology, and next week I leave for Guam to teach an additional 20 how to manage troop construction projects. So that being said, my student-teacher relationship is paramount. How I conduct business with my students is of the utmost professionalism, and I hold that near and dear to my heart. That same teacher-student relationship would be shared with Ms. Harrison, I would assume, and I think you would agree. You care about the people that you're housing, you want the best for them, you don't let them run amok in your house. There are rules and structure, and the state of Ohio mandates that. Is that correct? Okay, that brings us to my primary issue and the reason that I'm here tonight. And it was mentioned once, I will mention it again. Your literal next door neighbor at 585 Holderman Place is a registered class 3 child sex offender who, as an instructor, was accused of sexual battery of her student. And that is unacceptable. That fact alone should be enough for this to halt, okay? And I want it to be very clear to everyone in the audience, any effort by this council to advance this request is essentially supporting housing adolescent females or males. I still don't understand what the case is going to be. Directly, probably within 25 feet of a class 3 child sex offender, someone who is not even allowed within 1,000 feet of school. And we're putting these already vulnerable children who have been exposed to drugs and crime and whatever other situation they may have been exposed to directly next to someone who has taken advantage of a child. I see my time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Teresa Cooper.
My name is Teresa Cooper. I work for Montgomery County Children's Services. I understand the need for group homes. I understand the children that are going to be severely impacted. I read those stories. But I do not think that in our small village that we have the capacity to bring those children into our school where we already have numerous issues, and to the streets where we have numerous issues. And I do disagree with you about therapy, because the youth can refuse to go to therapy. They can also leave and go AWOL. And yes, they are, you notify the police, you notify the agency when these children go AWOL. But I also know that there are quite a few instances that these children can get into quite a bit of trouble. And our small village does not need this.
Thank you.
Fred Beck.
While I know there is a need for juvenile facilities, I'm gonna talk from experience. I'm a retired law enforcement officer, 41 years, 30 years with the city of Trotwood. We have group homes, and there's probably a reason there's a moratorium. They unfortunately have an unproportionate amount of calls for service. You will find police department will increase calls, your medics will increase calls. It's just the nature of the beast. So I'm gonna ask you to be very careful if you approve it, because again, the services that are gonna be needed, again, and she did mention they call the police when there's a missing. Well, that's great. But do you wanna have an officer tied up? How many officers you have on the street at one time? If something happens, well, unfortunately, they're there. So again, I'm gonna ask you to be very, very careful. And this is coming from experience. I was a supervisor out there. They are unproportionately amount of calls again for the community. So be very careful. Thank you.
Thank you. Robin Beck.
It's Becky, but.
I was gonna say, if I get these names wrong, it's the person.
I live at 106 Lawson Avenue, kind of on the corner, down the street, but I'm just here representing all the children who live in that neighborhood. There are probably 20 plus students that live down there that are very young. And with what we have going on out here with other students having issues, I don't think we need to bring other students in that are having problems also. We have enough of that going around. I think we should protect our children. We are a small community. I do believe everybody should get a second chance, but I don't think New Lebanon is going to be the right place for this. And no bad things about New Lebanon, but what will they be doing other than going to school? So we need to protect the kids that live here, not being transferred to here. So I just am looking out for all the kids that live down there. We need to protect them as village people that live here. We need to protect our kids. Unfortunately, I don't think this is the place for them. Thank you.
Thank you. Mike Wolpert.
How you doing? I'm with that gentleman back there. I'm retired law enforcement actually, and got bored and started again. But I did 25 years in Dayton, and I had a friend check stats on a group home in Dayton. And just from 11/8/2024 to 4/8/2025, 54 calls were there at this group home. 12 suicide threats, 24 missings. As she stated, every time they call, they're gonna call an officer. So you want an officer out of the house 48 times? Probably not. 2 criminal damagings, public service, 5 juvenile complaints, 2 peace officers, 1 mental health, 3 medic assists, 2 assaults, and an additional assist. Is that something that we can afford with our township going through, spending hours upon hours there it's gonna be, because when you do a report, I assume that they do the same as we do in Miami Township. You have to go out, you have to write one, you have to come back out and cancel the broadcast for the child or whatnot. So at minimum, they're gonna be there probably an hour at a time. All right, between the time they talk to the person, whoever's there, and the time they get the paperwork, redo it, cancel everything. You know, and she admitted that they have to call the police. Also, I attempted to contact the SAAS, that's the place that actually owns the property. It's a consulting firm or something, and the voicemail box was full, and I didn't get a chance to talk to anybody. So I mean, is there proof that she actually has, you know, this permission from this company to run the zone would be my thing, and she's shown it. So again, I don't think this is the place for it. You know, granted, if we had hundreds upon hundreds of cops, maybe, but I know we don't have that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Randy Remmer.
Good evening. My name is Randy Rammer, live at 342 Lawson. I've lived here for almost 40 years, all right? So, I just don't think this is a place for some kind of group home to be at, okay? And like I said, one comment, we have a lot of empty buildings around here. There's plenty of places to build, put them in there if they want to do that, right? Instead of a residential area. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Colette Sparks.
Hi, my name is Colette Sparks and I live at 555 Holderman, which will be 2 houses down. And I'm just concerned for my safety and the kids' safety. But thank you for all the comments they have been, what I have been said. Thank you.
Thank you. Nathan Demeen.
My name is Nathan Demeen. I live over at 605 Holderman, just a few doors down from where will be going in. My wife is with me today. We found out as of yesterday that we're having a little girl. The sweetest little girl, Victoria Evangeline. There are so many kids in this neighborhood every day. My wife is home all day. She keeps an eye on them. We've even had to make a few calls just to say, hey, there might be this thing going on. There might be this person around, something like that. And I mean, child safety, of course, is a massive thing. And now while child safety, of course, yes, we can always go on child safety, but why would I even bring that up? Obviously, some of the data and statistics we've been talking about today showcases that over 3,000 phone calls in 2023, or police calls rather, to homes within Montgomery County. One place having over 600 calls within the jurisdiction that the sheriff around here serves, almost 1,000 in 5 months. He was saying 2 calls a home a day. That kind of safety concerns me, it concerns my family. I unfortunately have not had the privilege of being able to only make my home what I want it to be, as unfortunately I've not been here for all but maybe 4 years. But it scares me. If a child were to get loose one day, then they have who knows what issue. I'm running around the bend of my property. My dogs could be outside, and of course my dogs are the friendliest, loveliest dogs ever, but you never know what a dog will do if you frighten them. Just another, thing to think about. Of course, obviously from some of the data we saw, 75% increase in these calls since 2022. And it's only going to increase here. Over the weekend, I actually had to make a police call for something, and the dispatcher said, hey, I'll have someone come out to your property as soon as we can. Took them about 15 minutes. If they're responding at a group home, and let's just say one of you guys have an emergency here in town, how long is it going to take? 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes? You never know, because they could just be trying to help wrangle people or help handle the situation over at the group home. Additionally, some other things that we found in our research was, as I'm sure many of you are aware, there are moratoriums going on right now in local communities because they're trying to find the best way to help serve these kids. Some of them have put them in for a couple of months, such as Trotwood. A couple of others, Huber Heights just recently put one in for a year, so that way they can have some time to evaluate their own zoning policies and determine whether or not this is actually something they want to continue to allow and allow with correct zoning permissions within their own city. I have no opposition to wanting to help kids. My father was a middle school math instructor for years. In fact, he even got sent to some of the worst communities in order to help teach. And I've seen the worst of the worst communities. He's brought me in as a guest teacher for some of those communities. And it's not good. I want to help those kids. I mean, every day, if you were to ask me what I want to do in life, I want to help people. But these are the kinds of concerns we have. Property values, I know she said it was false. That statement is completely false. All these data that was provided was correct and accurate according to multiple studies conducted anywhere between the 90s and the early 2000s. Finding more recent ones is a little harder to do, but all of it is correct and accurate with sources provided. Some other questions that I know have been brought up include, you know, do we know if there's an HOA there, and also the stance of the rental agency that she is renting this through? Do they know this is going in? I mean, if they have full permission, great, fantastic. That's wonderful. But do they have permission? Do we have verified proof of that? I also have with me today the official petition that was sent around to various homes around here, having over 30 signatures from various residents indicating that this might be of concern to them and that we might want to reconsider, at least until we can ensure that the zoning is correct for this particular property. While I understand that all of us want the best for kids, and I'm sure every single person in this crowd today would say that they want the best for kids, as does everybody, we want to ensure that this is made proper for everyone, a good, safe environment, a place where not only the kids that are currently there can thrive, but also the ones that are coming in. So with that, I thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Todd Harris.
I'm Todd Harris, I live at 513 Alderman. Most everything they've already said I was going to say, so really have nothing else. I just want to remind the council, we're already on a strained budget. Like to keep it down if we can. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Michelle Nadowski. Sorry.
Good evening, Michelle Nadolski. I live at 301 Ledgewood Court. I come speaking as a citizen of New Lebanon, but my background is in pediatric emergency trauma. And I'm here to tell you that the children from these group homes disproportionately take up bed space in your local ERs where your children could have a place to be. Every time the police have to be called because they're AWOL, these children don't want to be in these group homes more often than not. All they have to do is say, I want to kill myself. The officer, and I'm sure he will back me on this, you then have to take them for a mental health evaluation. No matter what it is they have done, legal or not legal, they cannot go down to the juvenile detention center until they have had a mental health evaluation. They are disproportionately not from counties that your local children's hospital supports. And we have a 43 county area that we support as your local children's hospital. These children don't come from those counties. They come from counties far away as Cleveland, the other side of Columbus. They're not children here in our communities that need the help. There's a reason why not Montgomery County, Dayton, Harrison, Huber, Trotwood, all have a moratorium. The literature is there, the data is there, thousands upon thousands of calls. So they have to take them downtown. How long do you think it takes one of your officers after they find one of these children, whether they're in a group home or not, if they have to be treated at a local facility or have a mental health eval, how long are one of your officers out of the village?
Depending on the night, usually an hour and a half.
No officer in town, not that officer anyway. So that's an officer. If our medics have to be called out, And then they have to take them in, they have to drive them in, they have to sign them in, they have to do their report, clean the rig, come back in service. Well, one of us might be having a heart attack, and then we have to wait for Farmersville. Everything's an emergency on one level or another, but what levels? What kind of licensing do the employees of these group homes have? Nursing homes have to be approved through the Department of Health, Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, Joint Commission for Hospitals. What kind of overhead is there for these group homes? These children are locked in. They know how to get out. I also see the kinds of things they do. I see the cars they steal, I see the accidents they get in. I see the medical care they have to receive. I'm not here to disregard the fact that these are troubled kids. They aren't, they wouldn't be in a group home if they weren't. But I don't think we have the ability of our village to support something like this. Dayton, Huber, and Trotwood are having problems. Who thinks we're not going to? Thank you.
Thank you. Finally, Bill Schreiber. Sharp, sorry. We're gonna see Frank next time.
Driver. I've been a resident of New London since 1958. Been a homeowner since 1967. I was a council member for 16 years. I have a vested interest in this village and in this community, and especially in this neighborhood. I have 2 grandkids and 6 great-grandkids living in the neighborhood next door to where this house is. As a homeowner and a property owner, my vested interest in the village is for the welfare of the village. It always has been, and it always will be. Someone who's renting a property has no vested interest in the community. They have no investment other than the rent that they're paying. And they can walk away from the property. They don't have to maintain the property. If the property is messed up inside, they may lose their deposit, but they walk away. It's happened before, and it'll probably happen again. I don't think this is something we need to have in the community. The police don't need to have the extra workload. And the community doesn't need to absorb property value losses because of the same type thing. That's about all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's it.
Okay, we've concluded our list, so now back to the board. You've got a couple of options here. Entertain a motion to approve, entertain a motion to deny, entertain a motion to approve with a number of circumstances on it that would make everyone feel comfortable. So, you know, some kind of motion is what I need from the board, and then a second to whatever that motion will be, and then we'll hold the vote.
I'll make a motion to deny. I'll second.
Okay, motion to deny with the second. The motion was made by Councilmember Sexton and it was seconded by Deputy Mayor Atkins. Have a roll call vote, please.
Councilman Charles Cooper.
This on the motion to deny?
Motion to deny the request.
Yes.
Councilmember Timothy Beck.
Motion to deny, yes.
Councilmember Melissa Sexton.
Yes.
Councilmember Nicole Atkins.
Yes.
Councilmember Christopher Sands.
Yes.
And George Marcus.
Yes.
That is a vote of 6 yeses and 0 nays.
Okay, the motion was made to deny and the motion was upheld to deny. Anyone would like to make a public comment? You have 3 minutes. State your name and address and step up to the podium, please.
My name is Nicholas Schaefer and I live on Balderman. A couple hours ago, my fiance had contacted the rental company and he said that he doesn't know anything about this business or group home going into his property. And I mean, everything else I've had to say, everybody else said. That's it.
Good,
Thank you, thank you.
I would just like to speak to clear up a few things before I head out. It's really disheartening to hear everyone speak of the children like they're animals. What if somebody gets loose and gets on my property? I want to be clear. There is foster care, there are group homes, there are locked residential facilities. We are not a lockdown facility. I'm talking about 4 or 5 children in this house at a time. We do excellent work. The Dayton, the Van, the Trotwood, that is also because they're saying there's 80 in that area. I'm talking about 4 or 5 children in one house. They don't need to be in a building. They need to be in a home with structure. They have bedtimes. Our Wi-Fi cuts off at 9 o'clock. We turn in cell phones overnight. We right now in Dayton, they're at a track meet at Welcome Stadium, rooting on their housemate, my 12-year-old girl who's on the track team. They're gonna go home, have dinner, take showers, go to bed. It's truly not what you think. And what I heard a lot of is that, oh, I like to help people and I do help people and I know that kids need help, but not too close to me, not over here with me. And I would just like to leave everybody with the thought of it can always be you. You never know. You could have been a kid in need. You could have been, there are so many unfortunate circumstances that are not these children's fault that they're in. Do some of them have behaviors? Yes. Do most of them have unfortunate circumstances that leads them to these places? Yes. And unfortunately, why they're not served in foster care is because foster parents and people who adopt tend to take younger children. That is why I choose to have teens, which people choose to feel like they are already molded and they do not like to bring them in and mix them in their homes where they have little children. As far as the sex offender, very unfortunate. However, there is no registry that tells you may be living next to someone who killed their whole family 20 years ago and is released. So we have predators everywhere. And there are a lot of kids in that community. I see them riding their bikes, small kids, they are. And honestly, we can keep our kids safer because we do supervise them, because they are not allowed to be out alone, because we do have cameras in all common areas inside and on all around the house that would be up. And, you know, a teen in a family setting is left alone for hours at a time. The teens at the group home, never alone. Can they still manage to get into trouble sometimes? Yes. All those calls, you know, the statistics, oh, one group home had this many calls, that is not my group home. We do not do those things. And you can always, we have criteria that the kids have to meet to stay at our home. They can always be removed when they are not a good fit for a family setting like our home. So I just wanted to clear up those misconceptions in the hopes of opening everyone's eyes and for the woman that spoke from the hospital, very unfortunate, but I want to be very clear. If you work somewhere in Dayton, yes, it is saturated. And yes, there probably is a lot of group home kids in the hospital, but I am in schools every day and I am in meetings every day. And I do understand that this mental health crisis is far beyond kids that live in a group home. There are families every single day calling law enforcement because they cannot deal with the issues that are going on with their own children in their own home with mom and dad and grandma and whoever else. So I do want to say thank you for your time and that I do hope in the future everyone else, you know, in the case of something like this, will be a little more open-minded.
Thank you for your comments, ma'am.
Thank you.
Any other public speakers? Mr. Nickerson. State your name and address, please. Step forward to the podium.
Okay, good evening, everybody. My name is David Nickerson, and I'm 559 Benbow Circle. And I just want to reflect on what this gentleman said here about being invested in this community. I too invested in this community, okay? For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm the mayor of this community. And I'm concerned for the citizens of what happens in this community, okay? So my only comment is, and I feel sorry for what's happening. Unfortunately, with 3,786 residents in a 2.8 square mile area, I just don't think we're able to. However, we can take care of our own too, and we need to do that. We need to take care of our citizens and our community. And that's the priority, unfortunately, for them, not for me. That's what we have to do. I have a recommendation. I recommend that the board get together and have a meeting and develop a moratorium like the neighboring communities and prevent this from happening anytime in the future. Okay, I think that's important. We need to do that to prevent that, okay? Nothing against any help that what they're trying to do, I think is amazing. Unfortunately, I just don't think it's right for your community, for my community, and for these citizens' community, okay? And that's all I have to say about it. All right, I appreciate it.
Thanks for your comments.
I would also like to follow up on what Mr.
Getting ready to go to the board for just a second. Okay. Any other member of the public that has a comment to make? Okay, we'll go to the board comments. Mr. Back, you want to go ahead since.
I would like to back what Mr. Nickerson said. I think we need to follow the moratorium.
Okay. All right, well, we're on board member comments. Do you have comments, sir? Okay. Mr. Stanton?
Yeah, I agree with Mr. Nickerson, but I think that's the council's responsibility. The board can suggest it, the council has to pass it.
Yes, that's what I think too.
If I'm seeing.
I think so.
Councilmember Texan?
Just want to thank everyone for coming out. It was great to see everyone show up.
Vice Mayor?
Thank you, everybody, for coming out, and I agree, I think we need to do this just because we are such a small community, and this is not something that we need to add on express when we already have financial stuff going on in our community, and we don't want to put a strain on our police department because it could affect somebody in our community. And it's not that risk that I feel comfortable that we need to make.
All right, then I would make a final comment. If I understand the board's comments correctly, the board is unanimous in the decision to recommend the council to look into a moratorium of a reasonable length of time to address the issue. Is that correct?
Yes, I feel like it's a huge liability for our community. And, you know, we have to take care of our community first before anything, first and foremost. And I think that's most important to me as an individual. So yes, I think that's a good decision.
Okay. Shannon, if you would tie that together and present it to council, please. And there's a number of communities out there where you could look at it and get a model maybe. Okay, thank you. All right. Are there any other board member comments?
Thank everybody for coming out and speaking your voice. You know, that's what this stuff's about. And I personally love hearing from the community, your feedback, good or bad. So thank you all for attending. Seriously, thank you.
Okay, before we go any
Gary
further.
has one thing.
Okay, Gary. Yeah.
Just information to go along with the moratorium. The company that owns this house owns another house down the street. So if we get that moratorium, so we don't have the same thing, well, at least to this one, let's just lease the one down the road and go through all this again. So if you pass that moratorium, then.
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, entertain a motion to adjourn the BZA meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Cooper,
Yes.
Councilmember Back,
Yes.
Councilmember Sexton,
Yes.
Councilmember Atkins,
Yes.
Councilmember Sands,
Yes.
George Marcus.
Yes. All right, meeting's adjourned. Meeting's
Meeting number one.
Meeting number one.
I'm gonna let you know quick that I'm gonna leave it running.
The air is on.
I'm gonna turn it down. I know, I'm free. Here's the recording, just so. Mr. Sands, I'm gonna leave it recording just to let you know, so just watch words.
This is probably this.
We are still recording, I just wanted to let you know. Thank you, Chief.
You're welcome, Shannon. I had 5 minutes, I guess it was enough.
You did great.
Mr. Mayor. Have a good meeting. Thank you. You're welcome.
Here's your script. This. You're still recording, just so you know.
I thought we already did that, but I'm totally.
I'm Casey Mines, I'm the pass-through slide first president. Yes. Good, so.
Take care of stuff, right?
Oh.
Just check with them.
Okay, okay, great. I don't know if I see you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna start the council meeting in about 10 minutes, okay, 8 o'clock, we'll start the council meeting, okay? 8 o'clock, we'll start the council meeting at 8 o'clock.
I first took this position, I had deliberation.
I have copy for you.
Yes, please.
Dorito. Water.
Never seen him before, but.
Get together again. I got people lined up this thing. Here is the finished business. Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's minor.
It's coming from the guy next door. That's
It's really. I don't go to the probably down the first. Church.
Usually about 12 or 15 minutes. My
You guys don't want to. I'll turn the mic on. Okay, I'm just calling because I have a question about my shed. My shed.
I wasn't.
Next to the driveway, I think that's to my property line. And all the way down here. I'm on the border lot, and it's my driveway, my house, and here, my house. Because
Oh, they got balance.
I heard what I said, and she said, you go down, go there, so I'm gonna, it's gonna take up my whole backyard. But, no, it's 33 feet by 18 feet. So it's not like this, but my shed that. So I would have to put the shed on the outside of the shed. Because I'm gonna have to just, you have to go a little bit. But if you're here tomorrow, if you don't run, because I'm working on my lunch hour. And I was talking about it today, something I could do. To show you, it'd be way better for you to see it instead of. Okay, all right, well, I'll call in the morning and then probably tell, just say, Tammy, can you have them run by my house to get some jam? And I'll be fine all day. Awesome, thank you, sir. Water.
We were out of water, so I had to bring up a case.
Shannon Beebe.
Sorry about that. Do you need a water?
It's just like a company getting to order. All right, thanks, I appreciate it. Always interesting day in the neighborhood. Yeah. It's like either someone. It's right, so it's not something. And it doesn't know me. Should see the budget. Like 3 people, the meeting after. Oh, there she is. Uttering that and get out somehow, small town. Oh, there we go. All the footage she talked.
Okay, everybody, good evening, we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, I'd like to call to order this April 15th, 2025 regular council meeting. Please rise for the invocation. Thank you, Danny, for a pledge of allegiance.
Let us pray. Gracious and Almighty God, we give you thanks for a time to come together for the good of this community. We give you thanks for the citizens, for the children, for the young and old that make up New Lebanon. I give thanks for the staff and for the council and for the fire department and police department and all they do for this community. Loving God, be with us in this meeting tonight. Help us to hear your small, still voice for the good of this community as we move it forward. Loving God, we offer this in your most holy name. Amen.
Amen.
Flag of the
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's more than one call. There's more than one call now. It's not just one.
On deck.
As well.
There's a couple of them.
I'll say I lied to you.
There's a couple of them.
Okay, next is a verbal roll call for council members present for the record.
Councilmember Back.
Present.
Councilmember Cooper.
Present.
Councilmember Joy.
Present.
Councilmember Sands.
Present.
Councilmember Sexton.
Present.
Vice Mayor Atkins.
Present.
Mayor Nickerson.
Present. Next is the approval of the April 1st, 2025 regular meeting minutes. Are there any corrections or changes to these minutes? Do I have a motion to approve the April 1st, 2025 regular meeting minutes?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
No.
Okay, next on the agenda is unfinished business. Ordinance 2025-02, third reading and public hearing. An ordinance repealing sections 36.20 through 36.34 of the Village of New Lebanon codified ordinances titled Municipal Finance and Taxation, and adopting the proposed language attached hereto to comply with changes enumerated in Ohio House Bill 33. This is the third and final reading of this ordinance. At this time, I will open the floor for any citizen comments or questions about this ordinance. No? Okay. Does anyone on council have any questions or comments about this ordinance? No? Do I have a motion to approve ordinance 2025-02?
So moved.
Second.
Mayor Nickerson.
Yes.
Councilmember Sands.
Yes.
Councilmember Back.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Atkins.
Yes.
Councilmember Cooper.
Yes.
Councilmember Sexton.
Yes.
Councilmember Joy.
Yes.
7 yeses, 0 nos. Approved.
Okay, next is the appointment to boards and commissions. First one is appointment of Shannon Bemis to the Planning Commission and the Board of Zoning Appeals. Do I have a motion to appoint?
I have
Shannon?
objections.
Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I have objections.
Okay,
Bill, did you receive an email from Ben Providence expressing his interest in those two boards? April 12th?
I would have to go back and look. I apologize.
Okay, well, he did. And I would like his name to be on, considered for those two boards.
what was his name?
Rob Dennis, he's.
Rob Dennis.
Rob Dennis.
Oh, okay, Mr. Dunn.
And I also think that, council was going to give us an opinion on whether it was a conflict of interest from Shannon Bemis to be on these boards.
Yeah, I can start there.
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, you can read these, you have to read basically all of them in conjunction with each other, all the different boards that there are. As it relates to the planning and zoning board, but essentially. And I don't have this code section here, but it lists who the municipal officials are. And the municipal officials are basically officers of the village, so it's the mayor, the village manager, the chief financial officer, the clerk council, the law director. Those are the officials, and then it goes through council members. I believe that is actually within the charter itself, if I recall the correct provision. Then if you go through each individual board, it specifically uses the language employee. And then there's specific language that does not use employee. And it also uses appointed officials. Based on the language of that, along with the fact that it explicitly names who the appointed officials are in the charter, she would not be considered an appointed official. She is appointed to the board, but not an appointed official under what the board members are. Now, the one board that does prevent it is the Personnel Board of Appeals. Obviously, you would not want an employee making personnel decisions on whether someone's getting remanded or fired or hired, whatever it may be. along with the actual, officials itself of the, or directors of the village itself. So that's where we stand on that. So she would be, able to be elected to the board that she had applied for. Obviously, I will defer to you guys on whether we're gonna table this, so that he has an opportunity to speak, or however you guys want to handle that.
I'd like to make a comment as well, because to me, having an employee, have access to, the information that comes into, the municipal office, as well as the, personnel that's bringing these, items to the board. Also being able to influence, the planning commission. And, excuse me, to me, that's a problem. And having that same person be able to then, if it gets appealed from the planning commission, to go to the zoning appeals board and also be on that board, is further cause for alarm, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, if I can, I mean, first off, the materials that are submitted, whether or not Shannon or whoever else is receiving them, those are the same materials that are.
On the phone, she's having information about that's coming into the municipal office. She has access to that information.
Well, I would say there was a court reporter here earlier today. Any decision of the Board of Zoning Appeals is based on the record that is created during the appeal hearing, and also based on the application itself. And there's an appeals process for that. If someone feels that there was someone who was improperly influenced, or if the decision of the 6 members, 7 members, when it's a full board, made an incorrect decision. I'm not saying that Shannon would or wouldn't use her influence to make the decision, but one Board of Zoning member cannot change the decision of the entire board, nor am I suggesting that she would, but there are checks and balances in place for that.
I mean, she has influence on 3 different aspects of bringing that information to the council, is what I'm trying to say.
Are you suggesting?
May I say something?
Yeah.
Mr. Dennis, I'd like to apologize to you if I overlooked your email with this past weekend. And just for clarification, were you interested in which, position or both?
Both boards.
Okay, I just,
Yeah.
and again,
I have the email he sent me, and he sent back not long after that, saying that you had responded to him, thanking him for his interest in those 2 boards. So then they're not here on our council for us to consider today.
What, Jim? You're squirming in your chair.
I mean, this is the zoning appeals board. This isn't the who makes what amount of money. This is a personal issue. I get that. I appreciate that. Bill, I know you got it.
I'm not done.
I know. There's been, like I said, there's a lot that goes on in here. The reason why, and this was again addressed with council, was that this motion was tabled for this meeting. That is why that is on here. I put in for this board, what is it, April, 8 months ago? For 8 months, we've had a vacancy. Oh, let me finish, please. For 6, 8 months, there's been a vacancy. And now all of a sudden, because Shannon Davis puts in for it, you influence somebody to all of a sudden the next day apply. And that too, as far as what I have access to. So if somebody applies for a fence variance, and first of all, I don't deal with that. I helped Gary with this one case tonight because he was not familiar with that. He is a zoning inspector. I have nothing to do with that. It is all public record. There's no knowledge that I have that nobody else has. I can assure you of that. And as far as being influenced, whether I'm on a board or not on a board, that carries no weight. You should have your own opinion. Now, I may bring insight or a different perspective.
I did remove, nobody asked me to remove myself, to get off of the personal appeals board or the tax appeals board, that's in the chart. I removed myself. Nobody asked me to, nobody said anything. I did that because I wanted this recommended when it's per the chart for the private ordinances. You're talking about a planning board or zoning board. I am entitled to be on it as a citizen. There's nothing conflicting about it. There is no personal interest, financial interest, anything. Now, if this group home wanted to move next door to my house, then I may have a little bit of interest and I might have to recuse myself. But that goes for no different than Mr. Cooper was gonna have a group home moving next to himself. Like I said, we're talking about permits, anything, I mean, nothing, top secret or, is gonna make or break it. So I've been up here, like I said, nobody's expressed interest in, and I applied when it was in December, and I've been talking about it since August. We've had vacancy posted for a very long time, nobody put in for it. It was tabled to get legal counsel, legal has spoken, there was no conflict, I would appreciate you applying to the board so I can serve the community.
If I may, during my conversation with Mr. Dennis, he said that he had sent a interest in these two boards to Mr. Anderson when he was the acting manager of the village, and nothing's done. So either we're gonna confirm this again and include him, or I don't know what we're gonna do.
Okay, let's, my recommendation. And Shannon's probably not gonna like it, well, let's table it again, now that we know that, Mr. Dennis is interested, and give him an honest, fair opportunity to meet with the village manager.
Does that work for you?
And we'll go from there, how does that sound, is that all right, does that sound okay?
So I have a question, so should I refrain from that, cause I have to refrain from any type of voting with Shannon because of conflict of interest? Am I able to vote for tabling, or should I abstain from that?
Just abstain from it. Is everybody else okay with tabling it again, so we give Mr. Dennis an opportunity?
No,
No?
no. Because we've already tabled it once.
I wasn't here the last meeting, so I apologize.
Yeah, we tabled it last meeting already for legal advice, and we got the legal advice. So it really needs to go through, or
Okay.
to find out if they're gonna say yay or if they're gonna say no. So we really just need to call it to a vote on it. Because we're gonna keep on tabling it, because this will be the second table.
Mr. Dennis, are you interested in any other boards? We have 2 seats available on the parks, one is probably gonna get voted on tonight. Are you interested in becoming a park board member? I know that's not what you want, but.
Well, I think the order of business is, either someone needs to make a motion in a second to table it, and then have a vote on that. If there's not a motion in a second, then we need to vote on whether Shane is approved.
Or we can vote on Shannon to be on the planning commission and Mr. Dennis on it.
There's other boards with openings also, there's personnel appeals.
I don't think we need to table it again.
May I say something?
Go ahead, Dan.
I don't know about how long the postings were or anything. I know people have asked me about it. I don't know who's running the website or anything. I understand you guys are table it once. However, it does sound like gentlemen applied with Anderson. I have heard also some people aren't getting feedback from Anderson when he was here. So I have a question. I'm not saying anything about this, you must not being added to a board, but being both. And you know, you've been here long, I'm gonna pick on you, sorry. Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know what administration it was. Or maybe you might know, because you were here a while. Wasn't at one point, person could not be on both because you were planning and then going and doing this something afterwards? Am I remembering right?
Yeah, so I was appointed to both. And then when we realized that we shouldn't do that, they took me off the zoning.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just on planning.
As a council member.
As a council
member.
I get that, but I mean, it's still, you know, I still go back to the same thing that I said before, that it gives you influence to condone something or, apply for a business to come to town. If that gets denied and they appeal it, you can appeal it, or you can deny it twice, and I don't think that that's, I don't think that's proper.
My suggestion, since it was mentioned by Mr. Nickerson, somebody up there, that there's other boards, since you have two people here. Just my suggestion that with both together, we're planning and then zoning, same, can be the same. Maybe we should get our somebody on the boards as well. So that's just my modification.
Okay. The thing that I have the problem with is Shannon was the only one that we spoke on last meeting. Now we have somebody else that came in after the fact. And this was totally after the fact. So we have to go on what we already was going on, which is already in front of us. Because that's why we tabled it. He was not even in the situation at that time as an interest party. So to be able to go through what we have in front of us with Shannon, we tabled it last meeting for Shannon, and then we have to go back and be able to vote on this. Because it's only the right thing to do. If we keep on tabling it, then anybody that's after the fact, they say, hey, I want to be on it, and then we're always gonna have to table the boards. There is a lot of boards available. We got the planning board, not the planning zoning, but we also got, the appeals board. We got the Paul Gillette, there's a couple other ones that still open that needs people to be on it. So there is many ways that we would be involved in the community. And some of them is more the personnel board, that is something that we would love to have a resident of the community on.
And I just want to clarify something. George Marcus is on the planning board and also the board of zoning appeals, just to let you know, they're two separate boards and he's on both of them. It's a council member, just to clarify.
Or, before taking, but the last thing I would say is, if you want someone else to be considered for the board, I think the straightforward thing is to vote no against Shannon if that's your position, but this is what's on the agenda tonight and it needs to be voted on.
Okay, let's do that, let's move forward, okay. All right. Do I have a motion to appoint Shannon Bemis to the planning commission and the board of zoning appeals?
Second.
Second or no?
Second.
Councilmember Joy,
No.
Mayor Nickerson,
Yes.
Councilmember Sands,
No.
Councilmember Back,
I'm abstaining.
Vice Mayor Atkins,
Yes.
Councilmember Cooper,
Yes.
Councilmember Sexton.
Yes.
1, 2, 3. 4 votes yes, 2 votes no, 1 sustained. Motion passes.
Okay, does anyone on council have any other unfinished, I'm sorry, let me back up, I'm sorry. We have, 2 seats available for the park board, this is new, I just got this, excuse me. Vice Mayor Nicole Atkins has requested to fill one of the vacant seats on the park board, okay? So we'll just go right back into it again. Do I have a motion to appoint Nicole Atkins to one of the vacant seats for the park board?
So
Second.
Mayor Nickerson,
Yes.
Councilmember Sands,
Yes.
Councilmember Back,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Atkins,
Yes.
Councilmember Cooper,
Yes.
Councilmember Sexton,
Yes.
Councilmember Joy,
yes.
7 votes yes, 0 votes no, passes.
Okay, congratulations. We still have 1 seat available, so if anyone is interested in doing that, John, be a part of that.
What are the requirements and what does that entail? What's the job description?
If you come to the office, they can break it down for you exactly what you need, and what the requirements are. I don't think it's very much, but It's lots of fun. Okay, all right, so thank you. Welcome.
Right.
All right. Next on the agenda is new business. I handed everybody a resolution. I need a motion to add resolution 2025-16 to the agenda.
So moved. Second.
Now, Councilmember Sexton,
Yes.
Councilmember Joy,
Yes.
Mayor Nickerson,
Yes.
Councilmember Sands,
Yes.
Councilmember Back,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Atkins,
Yes.
Councilmember Cooper,
Yes.
7 yes, 0 no's, passes.
Okay, so resolution 2025-16 is a resolution authorizing the village manager to execute a contract with Public Financial Solutions, LLC, to provide temporary financial services equivalent to the CFO position for the village. Does anyone on council have any questions or comments about this resolution? Yes, sir, go ahead.
So we're already engaged with them currently, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
And what are we paying them now? If you want to just go right into yours.
Matt? Okay, sorry. Yes, we are in desperate need for a CFO and Brian's done an amazing job, but the math, if we were to hire a full-time CFO at the going rate of $46.15, working 33 hours a week, his salary would be $95,992, which would total compensation would be about $145,000. By having an interim CFO at a reduced rate of $75 per hour and keeping our consulting services with the existing contractor, it'd be still the same amount of hours at 33 hours a week. The compensation per year would be $148,980. So there is a difference of about $3,000 difference, or on an hourly rate, a full-time CFO would be making $85.13, and our consultants and our new CFO would be making $86.82. But with that being said, Tom will be reducing his contract and his hours probably by nearly half. And Brian is dropping his rate to $75 and has, in writing, agreed to not exceed the billable hours. So we know he may work more hours, which will reduce his rate of pay. In regards to Tom, Judy, and Brian Thurman, I got to take a moment to give credit where credit's due and what they've done for the village in the last 6 months. First of all, when they first got appointed late October, in a record time, they prepared a 2025 budget. When they got here, the village currently had 3 funds that were deficit cash fund balances, contrary to Ohio law. They started addressing the sewer rehab and construction projects, and the village can expect to receive findings for each of these 3 funds in the upcoming audit for 2023 and 2024. However, with village approval, they developed a 5-year forecast for the water and sewer funds. And you guys approved a 20% increase in sewer rates effective this month, which will be the first series of increases that will be necessary to eliminate the deficits in the sewer fund and sewer rehab fund. They'll also, in regards, the village requested approval from the state of Ohio for interfund transfers that will completely eliminate the construction projects fund deficit. These deficits were essential to take place to follow state law and avoid being declared fiscal watch by the auditor of state. They amended the workers' compensation reports. The village had incorrectly reported its payroll to the Bureau of Workers' Compensation in 2023 and 2024, and they recouped refunds of approximately $12,000 in 2024 and $50,000 for 2023. They've determined the village had not requested permissive tax funds from Montgomery County since 2021, and they drew down approximately $56,000 of permissive tax funds from the county. They also discovered that they could they have the opportunity to increase the levy permissive tax fees as well, which could create more revenue and untapped resource for the income of the village. They assisted with the village meeting its federal funds reporting requirements. And this was through basically the COVID recovery funds, and the village received over $400,000 from it. A lot of that was prior, but just on Monday, the report had not been filed since 2023, but initially they filed for it. They had to get it resolved before the end of this month, and this past Monday, they recouped they saved the village 15,000 that they didn't have to pay the federal government. They are working on the 5-year capital operating plan, which is developing the framework for the 2026 to 2023 5-year operating capital plan. This is a part of the process to develop financial policies, sound financial policies that will be key to responsible and consistent management of the village's finances. And they're including all the leadership of the different departments for teamwork and staff development. They also focus on eliminating the community enrichment fund, which was not permitted, and they got all the funds reversed and moved to the municipal court building fund. They also are helping our team with providing income tax assistance, looking at establishing RETA, and providing assistance to the entire financial staff. I do not believe that we can find a full-time CFO with the qualifications and the expertise that both Tom Judy and Brian Thurman have, and have offered and benefited the village of New Lebanon.
Okay,
So you said they're gonna work 33 hours a week between the two of them? Is that what you said?
Brian has agreed to putting in 20 hours a week per average and not to exceed that. Tom Judy looked at his 6-month span and he averaged 13 hours a week. And that was during some crisis times that he was here more than he actually said he wanted to be here. And I will also share that the time that these two gentlemen work together and don't bill the village is absolutely an astonishing amount that we do not incur or have to pay for all their services, because those two are constantly meeting and discussing what's in the best interest of the village, how can they provide and serve the village, and they are doing it with good intentions, dedication, and commitment, and good hearts.
Can I get a copy of?
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. I meant to pass those out to you. I didn't know this was going to be on there. 1, 2, 3. And there's additional copies. I think I have them up there. Maybe more.
okay. Does anyone on council have any other questions or comments about this resolution?
Mayor, I have one.
Go ahead, sir.
What's the term of the agreement? Is it year to year, month to month? How does that work?
The present contract is through the end of this year.
Okay.
And so we will be getting with Nate and Mike to develop and
It's gonna be an amendment to the agreement. So realistically, what it's gonna be is the 32 hours. It's gonna be the rate that we just discussed. And he would not to exceed that 32. Obviously, it's technically going through the end of the year, but there might be a month that hires CFO who would keep them on for their consulting services, but they may no longer operate in that CFO capacity, but we are putting that cap limit on what they're gonna be doing per month.
Okay, so there's no definite term to the end of the contract.
Well, to the end of the year, technically it's through the end of the year.
All right.
Obviously, the goal is to have them get a CFO in here full time. Because they are a consulting business, this isn't gonna be their full-time job in perpetuity. So the goal would be to get somebody in here, but that means they, phase themselves out at the end of summer, at the end of fall, whatever it may be. I think that's the ultimate goal.
Okay.
Is it possible to have this on the village website so that if somebody like the community wanted to read it and understand kind of what's been going on, if that's a possibility? I mean, it says they assistant staff with the 2024 BWC tune-up and amended the report for 2023 resulting in workman comp refund of approximately $12,000 for 2024 and $50,000 for 2023. That's a lot of money. That's a lot. That's not a joke. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just me. And then you said again, it's probably later on down that another 15K. I mean, that's incredible. I think this should be something on the village page so that people can read through it and, develop their own opinion on it, I think that if that's possible, just throwing that out there.
Anybody else have any other comments or questions? Melissa, Christine?
Who's currently doing CFO duties right now?
Speaking.
Oh, vacant, so no one's doing any of these duties.
No, that's just what they have done as a contractual,
Okay,
workers. So we will have an assigned CFO finally.
so we don't have anyone in the office that's doing anything like this.
I'm sorry, what? This one?
Miss Beckham?
Oh, yeah, no, that, yes.
Okay, so that's, so this is really gonna benefit her. That's what I was trying to get at, is, yeah. She's wanting to know when somebody's gonna come in and help her out.
She's technically not the CFO, but
Right, but she's doing, performing some of the duties as the
Right. And this would allow them to take over that position.
Correct.
Anybody else have any other comments? I think this is huge, what these two gentlemen have done for the last
That's all
4 or 5 6 months.
tremendously, I mean.
$75,000.
And that was with a 5-year plan for a lot.
Plus our sewer, yeah.
Man, that's
This
incredible.
is helping this community just now. This is huge.
That's what I say.
That is a lot.
I mean, you're looking.
Okay. All right, so do I have a motion to approve resolution 2025-16?
So moved.
Councilmember Cooper,
Yes.
Councilmember Sexton,
Yes.
Councilmember Joy,
Yes.
Mayor Dickerson,
Yes.
Councilmember Sands,
Yes.
Councilmember Back,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Atkins.
Yes.
7 votes yes, 0 votes no, motion passed.
Okay, next is public comments or questions. I will call your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak and be heard. Once your time is up, you'll be thanked, but no additional time will be given, and no donation of time by others to others will be allowed. We will not be stopping your time, but may, if necessary, address your comments after you are done speaking. First person, Michelle Wadowski, 301 Ledgewood. And if Michelle, if you will, if you just push your microphone on so we can hear you a little bit, and the crowd can hear you also.
Michelle Delsky, 301 Ledgewood Court. I haven't heard anything else since I paid my taxes this week. I just want to know, when is Rita starting? Will we start getting some paperwork or information about that? Is that a for sure thing? I know we voted on, right?
So I have to confirm the timeline. The reason, the third reading of that ordinance that just happened to comply, basically, the House bill was passed that changed a lot of the tax codes. That is part of what we changed. It does not change substantively what your income tax is here. But they needed that to get done to implement their system because it happened 2 or 3 years ago. A lot of municipalities did the changes that were necessary. The village of New Lebanon did not, and for them to be compliant with the law, they needed those changes to occur. So Shannon maybe was speaking more to the timeline, but the timeline is for it to go into place next year. That's why that ordinance that was just read for the 3rd time tonight was passed.
October 1st.
Yeah, we missed the June deadline.
Yeah.
Okay, so we should start seeing the ability to do things electronically and things like that by October? Or we're gonna still be doing this crazy piece of paper next year or two?
No, it should be up and running in October 1st.
Okay,
For 2025 taxes?
Yeah, I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
so I'm not gonna have to fill out the form.
It's October,
Yeah, we just did 2024,
Okay.
2025. I believe.
And, I want to give you a quick update on the American Legion. There is no update. This is my very not patient face with contractors, HVAC, electrical, plumbing, you name it. This is my not happy face. And the current owner, my landlord at the current location that is not back in business, there has been zero work done there, zero work, other than what us members have done with our own personal property within inside the building. So just so you're aware, there's still no water, still no electric, and still no gas, but I'm still getting bills from ADS and Centerpoint that says I owe them money, which nothing to do with yours. But on that case, I know there is no one there, but I've got people that are filling my dumpster every week. If you could let the officers know that's a problem. If I did not give the person permission because I have given some people permission to use the dumpster. But the things that are in the dumpster are not the things I gave permission to put in there. And I was up there emptying more things out of the building today. Somebody put their entire countertop out of their kitchen in our dumpster.
Oh, wow.
And no, I don't have cameras. Wouldn't matter if I had cameras because I don't have any power. But I don't want to pay $297 a month for somebody to put their kitchen remodel in my dumpster. So I know they have other important things to do, but if they happen to go by there, they're also busting glass in the parking lot back there on a regular basis. But, and I didn't want the neighborhood, so I don't have anything for you tonight, I'm sorry. But you should be able to walk the neighborhood very easily in 5 months. This town looks bad. I know it's spring and everything's muddy. Looks bad.
Thank you, Michelle, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, Tammy Locke, 212 Brumwood.
I just had a couple questions, oh, actually 3 questions. Is the special investigation now complete?
From the auditor's perspective or from our perspective?
Both.
From the auditor's perspective, they issued their opinion, and from our perspective, as far as I know, there's no more investigating being done this time.
What's that? Okay, to the council, because this is the first I've heard any kind of numbers coming out there or anything, has any of you as council at all last year up till now had any financials on a monthly or quarterly basis at all? So none of you have had any access to any financials. I noticed we've never seen anybody, even our acting people that's been in, our chief, other people in other positions acting in their capacity. We've never seen anybody for financials at all. Is there a reason? Since we are questioning so much about the financials and everything, but yet there's nothing to our, I mean, I'm taxpayer too, just like everybody else that brings that up in here. We haven't seen any financials in a long time. So how do we know?
Are you talking about the overall for the village? That's a plan that, Tom and Brian and I have discussed that we need to give more updates on a periodic, routine basis.
Okay.
We
Well, we've
used,
always
we used to
had-
get, we used to get them every single month, certified financial reports, and we haven't had one since December of 2023.
So that's something they need to look at. I mean, I think a lot of people will be curious to see what is going on. Since we are moving forward, like to have that information. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Tammy. Shannon Beach, 130 Brumwood.
You come up. Here.
She said you're asking about it.
Well, come on back up.
Since Gina brought it up about the zoning and the both boards. I mean, it's kind of, she's been put on both, but I didn't realize Marcus had been on there, but we asked one person to be removed. Why wouldn't we do that for the others?
So the code provides the exception for the being on planning board, it applies to a council member, can't be on both. Marcus is not on the council, which is why it is allowed.
Or wasn't he put in as, and I could be wrong,
Yeah.
but I thought he was in that, it's, because I think he's been on there for a while, and I assume he's been on both boards, maybe it's something to look into. Because if he was at that time, in all honesty, if that was the case, we asked him to be removed, but yet we not against her being on a board, I'm just saying across the board being fair to all.
Well, I mean, I'm just basing it on what the code says, and the code says it's a council member cannot be on both boards. And so since he's not a council member, she's not a council member.
He's not a council member now, but he used to be our village manager.
I can.
But he wasn't on council.
He wasn't on any, he wasn't on any board.
He wasn't on any board.
No, that's not.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Okay, so, well, I'm not gonna say anything other than, Mr. Nicholson, I think you said like $75,000 is what the financial company saved. And writing it down, the 12,000, the 50,000, just for BWC payments that were improperly done, permissive tax that was never claimed. And then the 15,000, the COVID money, we're looking at $133,000. So, I'm glad that you guys approved to have this company. They're paying for themselves. They already did. I look forward to what they can do for us, and I mean, maybe just a consulting firm is the way to go, and as long as you guys can keep them, I hope they stay. I appreciate what they're doing, that you guys are keeping them on, so thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next is the administrative staff comments. Yeah, we'll start with you, bud. How you doing?
On the spotlight.
You're on the spotlight, but I don't see no papers in front of you, so it must be easy.
Can you use the microphone, please?
Does that work?
You never hear them. Yeah.
You just have a screen like this.
Well, you gotta walk up to the
Or
podium.
you can walk up to the podium if you want to.
That way.
Or you can screen, or whatever.
It doesn't matter.
I don't understand.
Now I'm on the spotlight, so here we go. I'd like to give a thanks to all the utility workers. We had a big break that happened on Friday at 4 o'clock. And, they were all present. We knocked it out real good. The thing with that main break is it was about this far from the last main break. So that will take me into a longer story of infrastructure and billing infrastructure. Again, I don't want to get into that moment, but they did really good teamwork. They worked well together. We knocked it out pretty quickly. I had to learn how the guys work together in stressful situations. And got to see that, got to see more of the distribution side of everything, and, got to help operate valves and stuff like that, like I used to do back in the old days. We did have to remove a motor from the wastewater plant for the compactor, from where we had the flood over a month ago, or about a month ago. It did mess that motor up, so we took it in to have it serviced. So at the moment, we have to clean those manually, shovel it, carry it down, throw away. Not fun, but business is business, how we go through, what else, North Clarifier, we got it working, without having to spend $20,000 to reservice the entire, drive shaft on it. So I'm thankful for the guys for being diligent on all that. That's about it, everything else.
Say that again, what was that last one?
I'm sorry,
What was the last thing you said?
the North Clarifier. When I first started, the North Clarifier, had broke, they had to have the motor reserviced. We've had issues with it for a while now, since putting it back in service. And, I believe it was, the drive shaft was causing some issues. I don't know if we're fully out of the water with it yet. Because of the age and neglect. So, we're moving forward on that. We're trying not to Band-Aid anything anymore. We are trying to put our best foot forward and best effort into getting stuff done right the first time, so we don't have to spend a lot of time on one project over and over. As soon as you walk away from fixing something, move on to the next, and hopefully you don't have to go back. That's what we're trying to do. And so far, we're doing pretty good. There are things that need to be done, and there are things that have been put on the back burner, and I'm trying to move them onto the front burner. Other than that, everything else is business as usual. We're gonna start the mowing season. We're gonna interview, seasonal help to, help us with, all the grass cutting around here, and hopefully we can make the parks really, nicely here. And, I did get a letter from someone that takes care of the flowers outside of one of the parks, that he no longer wants to do that. So we're also looking into how we should handle that situation. I think the rose bushes is what he put in, the letters on my desk. So, other than that, that's about it for us. Everything else will just goes into usual maintenance. Cleaning up the mess after the main break was, took some time. Mowing grass, we started mowing grass season. We did have an issue with one of our mowers where the dry belt broke. And that takes you away from having to do that, but that comes with the job, so. Any questions?
Anybody have anything for them?
Do you by any chance have that list of the roads being patched?
Daryl makes that list and he sends it to the city manager.
Okay.
Did you get that?
I got his week list of efforts, so, I did not bring it with me. We're gonna look at revising the, list and productivity, logs, here in the near future. So that we can document exactly where our efforts and time is being spent. And I'll have to update about the routes here in a second.
Thanks. Thank you.
I do have a recommendation to that, something to think about, you and the village manager. With finances and how everything's going, and we're trying to move forward, which we really are. I recommend you guys get that Durapatcher out and go through that, start using that thing again. I think that will help us greatly, instead of putting cold patch in the holes that don't want to stay. That Durapatcher is a unique piece of equipment that I think would benefit. I mean, I'm sure it has been used in 5 or 6 years. I don't even know what the status of it is, what the condition of it is. But I know there's a little bit involved in getting it running. I know a county engineer that is an expert on it, and I'm sure he would help come out and train. Just a matter of making a phone call.
I would need that.
You know, where to go get the aggregate, you know, I know it's up in Pickwa, you know, there's some time to do that too, so. I think that's something that we need to get involved in, get that Durapatcher out. It's $100,000 plus piece of machinery that would benefit this community and the roads big time, but it holds a lot better than that cold patch does.
Awesome. That would be something I'd have to learn myself.
Right, and it's a unique tool that hasn't been used in probably 6 years, so it's sitting in a building, not doing nothing.
We've had some initial discussions regarding bringing that out.
Good. You guys are doing a great job, man, just keep pushing forward. You know, I see it every day, I'm up at 3:30 in the morning, I drive around this community down the streets, I look at the roads, what needs patched, where the holes are. You know, I'm very attentive about it, and I appreciate you guys, I see the difference, you guys are making a difference, and I appreciate that, you guys just keep moving forward, I know it's hard, but you guys are getting it, so. So I appreciate it, I appreciate you, especially, you guys are doing a great job.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. So, you're up here.
We have a new business coming into town. It's a cell phone shop coming across from the old Legion.
Here you go. Can't hear you.
Oh, Mike.
Mike.
Oh, yeah.
We have a.
Yeah.
We got a new business going in, it's a cell phone business, local owner. Going in across from the old Legion. There's been a dog shop, shirt shop in that building. We will be scheduling some more hearings for building and zoning. And one of the issues that may not go is between Nate and I, we have a house on Main Street that's owned business by us and residential by the county. So that's the conflict. We don't know which way it goes. So we're working on that one. The lot's clear for the Rite Aid, it's coming up. And a variance hearing on the car lot on West Main Street is coming up. He was talking about cutting grass, but we probably need to remind everybody there is an ordinance or it's against the village to blow your grass cuttings in the street. So we need to post that on
You have to cut it first.
Let's kind of weather a spring cleanup, let everybody know, they start cleaning up properties, because if it's not covered up by snow, now we can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's making the,
Yes.
it's cleaning up, it's.
Yeah. And things are starting, like I said, you can see them now, or you can see a lot of them.
You said, don't put your grass clippings in the street, correct?
Correct.
Okay, now I want to make sure that drives me nuts too when I see people do that. You know where that goes, it goes right down into the sewer, which means they got a problem with the sewer plant, and that causes problems there. And it just drives me nuts.
That's what we need to maybe post it on the thing.
Post it on the website that please do not put your grass clipping in the street.
And as someone who's been in this profession for 20 years, it is possible to do that and not blow it in the street. Not only does it go down and clog up, sewer and everything else, but, I know a lot of people who ride motorcycles who do not want to slip and slide. So let's just think about the safety and, be a little bit courteous on that, and it is possible, so.
Okay, I'm gonna back on that call out on Main Street. How many non-compliance issues have you went over there and dealt with them?
Many
Roughly,
letters or.
yeah, anything,
Roughly, I don't know offhand, but I know they've got at least 4 letters.
okay,
Uh,
because
I
they,
had verbal meetings with them
yeah.
just recently because they've been.
Like the RV and all the causes popped in the back, that is chemicals, you got, it's but the bad thing is when you got cars sitting in the grass or even outside, it's an environment. You got broken, cars that's, leaking antifreeze, all kinds of different stuff. There's a risk, it's a risk factor for our community. And then there's also a risk factor as the animals, you got, if a kid, even though it is fenced, kids can still, it's right over where that fence is, you could walk right down by, between Family Dollar, you could jump that fence and get over there, if you really wanted to. So there's just a lot of health hazard and everything, having all the oil, the chemicals that they have back there. I mean, you can walk right down, you don't even have to be anything, you can walk right between Family Dollar and that and see everything that's in that back. And just some of the stuff they have out there that shouldn't be out there is a health hazard.
I haven't seen any chemicals.
I got pictures I've sent before.
So my question is, you sent them letters, right?
Yes.
So what more can we do? Is there anything else that we can do besides sending them a letter? Are we in the same predicament, just like with people not cutting their grass or having stuff in their lawn, same predicament?
Pretty much. I mean, obviously, if he gets a letter, he moves those cars.
Yeah.
They ain't bringing more in.
So there's like, we're stuck in the loop of, yes, some of the cars could be doing that, but the point is we send them a letter and basically they're just not complying. So then you have to send them another letter for not complying. And it's in the same loop, so.
Same loop.
So we need to figure out something
And
with,
that's part of his variance. He wants to explain by state law, when he buys cars in an auction, they have to be shipped to his dealer license address. And that is his dealer license. So they're shipped there. Now they may be wrecked. Then he calls a wrecker and has them transferred to a shop in Moraine to be repaired to bring back to sell. Is he storing them? Yes, technically, but he doesn't consider it storing because they have to be shipped there and then move from there to another place.
is there something?
He does not have a personal record.
Yeah.
He contracts.
He has to have somebody come in and they're sitting there.
So
until
they
come
may be
in and
there
get it.
2 days, they may be there 3 days.
Is there something that we can do? So for like the amount of cars that you can have stored there, period, like, hey, you cannot be storing cars like out back or on the grass. You're not supposed to do
He
that.
has that now, and that's where I guess his argument is that I'm really not storing them, they get shipped here and then I got.
I mean, but they're sitting here. And I understand that's not on you, but it's like, you're.
I would,
You're not even following the laws that we're
Right.
addressing.
And if you're gonna put that into effect, I would say he's gonna go out of business. Because where's he gonna have his cars to do? Now, I think probably in this variance hearing, you guys may put this stipulation, hey, you can have them right there, they gotta be removed within 8 hours or 4 hours or whatever. Again, he's at the mercy of calling a record to come get him. And I'm sure there's not a record just sitting there waiting for him to call.
I mean, I get that, and I get it, that your hands are tied from your point, but it's kind of like he's enabling it, because it's like he knows he doesn't have the space to store them other than on the grass where he shouldn't be. So I feel like that's putting him, he's not complying with the ordinances that we have here, and then he's gonna come up and ask us to help him when he's not even complying with us. That's hard for, me personally, just to make a decision on like that. I just think that he needs to comply, and then if he's having issues and then he's got extra cars that are coming there, that he has to move to another dealership, he needs to have them sent to the other dealership, whether it's registered or not. I feel like
But that's a violation of his license.
then I would move the cars that he has sitting at this dealership there, and then so that he's not storing them out back or any other issues. That's just my personal.
And that's what he's doing. He's not doing it in a timely manner.
Yeah, because I would just move the cars that he has there, since if they're drivable on the lot that he's selling, drive them to your next dealership, have the junk cars sitting on the blacktop so that he can fix them on the blacktop, so that if there's.
He's not allowed to work on cars there.
No.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's maybe just a nightmare.
Okay, I'm gonna explain something. The dealership across the way has the same rules as this dealership on Main Street. They get the auctions, they get it delivered to them, they have it already prearranged, which it takes planning. You know you're going to auction, you know you're going to buy cars. You already have it prearranged when you got your delivery coming, to have a tow company there. They do it all the time. Them cars stays out of the lot not even 2 hours, and they got them out of there and they got them moved out. There is planning. You can feed it to a certain point, and you can let them get away with it to a certain point, but until you keep on doing it, they're gonna keep on adding more to it, and they're gonna keep on doing it more, and they're gonna keep on adding more. Pretty soon, you're gonna be, if anybody knows anything about Northridge, do you guys? It's Car Lot City, and they have, the car lots, they do the same thing, they bring all these cars in, they sit there. And do we want that for the community in, New Lebanon? No, we don't. The reason why we did it at the zoning thing is to try to keep the beautify of the community here. To try to keep it clean, to try to keep it respectful. And they keep on all the time. I can send you pictures every single day if I wanted to.
And there's a car.
And a different, no, of the same car. That RV's been sitting there for 2 weeks now.
At least 2 weeks.
So, and you can say no all you want, and I know for a fact because I actually reported it. And actually, I reported it to Shannon as soon as it came down, and I said, has it been done? Anything's been done about it.
I was there 2 days after it pulled in there and talked to the owner.
And it's still sitting back there in the back.
Well, what can we do to write a letter?
I know, but they need to start following, they need to start following, because they'll just get in the way.
Okay, let me be a devil's advocate. He blacktops back his lot, he can park all the junk cars he wants.
No,
They can read ordinance.
no, because we put it in the zoning that he can't do any outside storage. Yeah, it says no outside storage.
Says no.
No, he can't.
And it's the same thing with people with their houses. They want gravel, they can have gravel. You're gonna say no, but your ordinance says anything less than 10,000 square feet. So if he blacktops that, he can have inoperable vehicles.
No outside storage.
So in the letter that you sent, how long do you give it? 30 days, I'm guessing?
10 days.
Okay, so he has to make the move in 10 days.
If he
And
complies.
does he usually comply within that 10 days or not?
Yes, on car. And on this RV, this is the first time. This RV was, I guess, an accident that he bid on and got it.
Yeah.
But cars, 10 days usually he moves. Now he'll bring more in, right behind it. So,
But he complied with
white card, blue
he
card,
complied with your,
letter.
your
The white
letter.
card and blue card are gone, now he's got a black one and a red. So now it's another letter, and another 10 days. It's a constant cycle.
It's a cycle, so I think we need to.
Playing systems like.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing, I think the thing is, we need to sit down and figure out something that's gonna help Gary be able to do something besides send the letters that either they comply with or they're playing the system and it shows, maybe.
Reach out to the county or something.
Yeah.
I mean, that goes for the grass, the trash, everything.
Yeah, all of it.
I mean, that's one thing that needs to be done now.
When can we like try to figure out something like that, anybody know? Like as soon as possible preferably, because this, I don't wanna start off the year dealing with grass and people having junk outside of their house.
It's been brought up months ago,
Yeah.
and we need to, that's something we need to.
Sit down and actually do. Maybe I got ideas when we can.
We'll have to come up with a time frame when we're able to have a work session and discuss it. That's what we're gonna have to do, and discuss it.
As soon as possible.
You know, yeah,
Seriously.
it's time constraint, with people working and, the season's starting, so.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people, a lot of busy doing things, so we gotta,
What is there to discuss? Would we just need some legal?
well, we can reach out to the county and talk, see what the county does, talk to the commissioner, the county commissioner, and just.
Nate, would that, I mean, would we go through you guys to get that done?
We still need to sit down and talk about what it is you guys want, but.
And I submitted a letter to Nate on some rules that from other towns that like 72 hours, or 7 days. But that's gonna have to be approved in it.
Yeah,
He can't
usually
just say,
it's like
"Go do it."
72 hours.
Something make it legal.
Yeah, well, you have a pretty wide breadth of what you can do with your zoning code, it's just a matter of what I think. Or what I see that I think is successful, maybe different than what it is you want for your community, so regardless, there needs to be a sit down before we just start putting pen to paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of them have so long, and then the service department comes in and removes the junk, and they pay for it.
Yeah.
And it's,
Like a storage
but
facility.
we can't do it. We don't have so much.
Yeah. Who owns that corner on, Church and 35? The parking lot there,
Where the beauty shop or plumbing shop is.
right across from the beauty shop.
That's the old gas
It
station.
used to be the,
Gas station, yeah.
Yeah.
I believe that.
who owns that?
I think it's.
I have him, because I cited him last year for grass. But I don't know his name, Robbie.
Oh, they have grass?
Yeah, sure.
Out by the road, it was this high.
Is it Macintosh? I thought Macintosh bought that years and years ago.
I just know that house, or I don't even know what it is, bar slash apartment.
He don't know
What
that.
it, yeah, it is.
I don't think he owns that. He just owns that blacktop.
Well, they use it.
It's,
And
the property line is about maybe less than a foot off the edge of the old cracked, the old bar. So that lot goes from Church Street all the way to about a foot over from the building. Last time I looked, it was owned by somebody that lives up on Congo Brookville. We were having issues with the apartment doing stuff over there, so we were trying to work with them to try to get either them trespassed off there or about the vehicles and stuff like that.
Oh, great, good.
But we haven't had. They kind of went away, we stopped having problems with them, and we're kind of starting to have more problems with them again, so that's something that we might look into, because. Yeah, that apartment building, it's literally like 6 inches from the wall is where the property line is.
Okay.
So it's.
All right, so you guys are on it then. Okay.
I did want to say one more thing. On the zoning board that we did for the car lot, it says 8 cars can be displayed on the lot or sell at a time, no outside storage, storage and parts in off-road vehicles or do repairs outside is permitted. So,
I agree.
so basically, he is not allowed to have any storage in that unless it's the cars that sell around the lot.
Well, we're just gonna have to work together to figure out.
I mean, like I said, he hasn't delivered it or removed. That's story.
We'll
This
figure out a
building
plan.
was sitting there.
We'll get a plan together.
Do you have any issues with any other car places around here with that issue, or is it just them?
Just him.
Yeah.
Just the call. I mean, no, I'm not getting any complaints from neighbors.
No, I mean, like any of the other car places.
Yeah,
It's just
I only
that.
had two.
Yeah, we got two, and the other one,
Only has 4 cars on the whole lot.
yeah, because they sell other ones, you believe they had 8, they do 8 sometimes still, but they sell the cars. And the other cars, when they come in, they keep a couple spots for the, for holding a half a parking spot, and for customers too, so.
And I agree, but like I said.
Let's go ahead and move forward. We'll get this figured out. I mean,
Thank
there's
you.
not more we can do at this level right now, but we figured something out. Thanks, Gary. Anybody else, anything for Gary?
Very much.
Run, Gary, run. All right, yeah, fire chief, you're next. AC.
Nate, is it okay to comment on the medic?
Yeah, I mean, generally what's going on, yeah.
You wanna do that?
Well, I mean, generally speaking, obviously, there's been a lot of medic issues. We have engaged the Attorney General's office who provides these type of services for municipalities to basically do informal dispute resolution. With Horton, we are in the very early stages of that, so what that's gonna look like, whether it's full replacement. You know, they build a new one, or they just give us the money. That remains to be unknown. We really are in the early stages of that.
So basically, when it came back last time, it was on the road about a week and a half. It came back with issues. It came back with damage that wasn't there when we sent it out. The same issues cropped back up within the first couple hours. And then the brake issue within a week again, which would be the 3rd or 4th time on the brake system. So we do have a caseworker assigned from the Ohio Attorney General. And at this point, like Nate said, we're just in the very early stages of what actions we can take to ensure that an asset that the village purchased is an asset that we can actually use. So we'll do an event, I'm sure the police will too, at the school in early May. We do touch a truck every year at the elementary school, which is a day of various equipment. Usually the SWAT team's there, sometimes they have a crane there. So we'll take a truck to that event. We do have the opening day parade permit. So the parade's in early May as well. Other than that, the people right now, first part of the year is always protocol for EMS people. So the trainers, myself and a few others have already completed their portion of the training and testing. And now we're in the process of training and testing others. One of my full-time staff that came on at the tail end of last year is a certified CPR instructor. So we're going to start looking at a process to start to offer CPR courses to the community who want that. From my understanding, the only cost would be for the cost of the card, which they, does have to be paid for. So other than them having to put forth the money for the card itself, we would offer the courses to the community for free. And that's all I have.
Anybody have anything for the fire chief? I got something. Pretty serious accident, Farmersville the other night, involving Michael Moyer. Moyer is the president trustee of Jackson Township, his wife Betty. I guess somebody cut in front of her and forced her off the road, and she actually T-boned into a telephone pole and had some broken vertebrae, and she's still in the hospital. I checked on her this morning. Mike Moyer called me the other night and wanted me to pass on to the fire chief and to all of New Lebanon his sincere appreciation for the professionalism that our fire department did in caring for his wife. Mike and I have been friends for over 30 years. We've known him, Susie and I have known him forever. And Kelsey Ersman, who's a trauma nurse, flight nurse, paramedic, or who, not Kelsey, Lindsay, I'm sorry, thank you, was actually working here, and the chief had her go with Farmersville crew, and was able to get a very difficult IV in the shoulder, and the on-duty trauma surgeon wanted to know who that person was who did that, because he was absolutely amazed at the perfection of what was done for Mikey Warrior's wife. So, very good job. If you'll let Lindsay know, very, very outstanding. The amount of training and expertise and caring of the medics and the fire department of both Farmersville and New Lebanon that we have to help this community and neighboring communities is amazing. So, thank you very much for that. I told Mike Warrior that I would let you know about that.
Yeah, and I'll pass it on. One more thing. We do have, of course, our other motor is aging. It's got about 160,000 miles on it. It's not a position that we wanted to be in as a village. That's why we bought a new medic. But with just as things have evolved, because of the high mileage on the other medic, it breaks down on a fairly routine basis. It's the longest we've ever kept a medic with the most mileage we've ever kept on a medic. So it went down at the tail end of last week. I found a big bolt in one of the front tires. So the other front tire was in bad shape. So I'm just waiting on them to finish repairing the front tires on the medic, and then we'll get that back. But yet again, Farmersville has been overly generous in allowing us to borrow their medic so that we can continue to provide services to the community. And they've done that several times over the last 6-8 months. So,
JC, what's an option to find another medic? Can we gov deals one? Can we reach out to neighboring communities and try and buy one? And the community afford a used medic that's in great shape?
I thought I had a line on one from Bellbrook. It was an older medic that didn't have a whole lot of miles on it. I reached out to their chief and spoke to him while it was listed on Gov Deals. And I asked him if it did not meet reserve, what his reserve was on the medic, and if he would be willing to sell it to us. If we could do that, he told us, and he told me, well, matter of fact, an hour ago it met reserve. So the biggest thing that I found out with Gov Deals is until you have an established account where you purchased over and over and over again, they limit the amount of money that you're even allowed to bid on anything. So I think it's only like $1,000 is max you can bid. Just like our last medic that we sold, it was a 2002 and it sold for almost $7,000. So they're not ridiculously priced. I will say a couple things. With a 2 to 3 year delivery time on medics to have one manufactured at this point, everyone is band-aiding their medics together to keep them on the road. So it's a situation where you have to be very careful because you don't want to buy someone else's problem and still be in the same boat that we're in. And the same way that we do things to legally liquidate our surplus when we purchase something new is going to be the way that most municipalities are going to do that. Most cities are going to do that. They're either going to sell to, they're going to go to some kind of auction place or to sell their surplus. I don't know too many that sell them outright because just the way that a lot of the laws work, it has to be mostly competitive bidding to liquidate that asset. I can start looking and see if I can find anything at a dealership that would be used. because there are used fire apparatus dealers out there. There are used ambulance dealers out there. So I can look at that. The thing with that is probably that company's went through them and they fixed issues that they have with them. But we're probably gonna pay, you know, it might be, and I'm just throwing a number, it might be $25,000 or $30,000 for something as opposed to $7,000 or $8,000 for something on gov deals, if that makes sense. Because most of the vehicles on gov deals are gonna be as is, where is, which means they're taking no responsibility for it whatsoever. If you pick it up and drive it a mile down the road and the motor blows up in it, we sold it to you as is, where is. So, you know, we're just gonna have to keep the one we have operational as long as we can. I mean, we know the issues with that medic. I know it's gonna need a, you know, with 160,000 miles on it, I know it's gonna need a, basically they have exhaust filters on them because they have DEF on them now. And I told him to give me an estimate because I know that's something that's coming up. And hopefully, you know, he said, I'll get back to you because if it's a dealership right, it can be $3,000 to $5,000 for that part. But it's something you know, our maintenance costs are gonna go up until we get a medic that we can keep on the road.
Anybody have anything else for, thank you, anybody have anything else for the fire chief? Please, chief,
All right, I sent our stats out for March. We had 1,010 calls. We did 30 reports total. So between January and February, we had 38 total. Last month we did 30, so we almost doubled. So our busy season started. I'd just like to remind people, we still have people that they see something, they'll drive around until they see an officer, or they'll come up to the office the next day or a couple days later, or they'll call us later. And it's people walking around vehicles or walking down the street at 2 a.m. screaming. I just like to encourage everybody that when you see something, call right away. Even if we're on a call, it'll put it on the board, and it'll let us know to free somebody up to go check on it. Oftentimes, stuff like that is relevant to other calls that we're currently on, and that helps us greatly when we have accurate, quick reporting, and it helps us solve stuff and prevent crimes. So even though we're getting into the busy season, please call right away. Don't wait. If something happens and the thought crosses your mind that maybe I should call, please do. I'd rather us come out and check on it and it be nothing than, you know, somebody just stole from a vehicle and we could have caught them, but we don't find out about it until a couple days later. Like Gary said, we have a ordinance against grass clippings being discharged into the roadway. It's dangerous for motorcycle operators. I'll post something on Facebook. We have something that we post each year. The ordinance covers grass clippings, snow, yard debris, waste, all that stuff. The only thing that's not covered is when people are putting grass or putting leaves out for collection during fall. But any other yard waste, you have to take care not to put it in the roadway. If you do accidentally discharge something, please blow it back so that we don't cause any crashes. Other than that, we're having a meeting on April 30th here in the council chambers at 7 p.m. That's a Wednesday. We're looking for, we'll give out neighborhood watch info, and we're looking for input from the public and anybody else as far as any questions they have about PD operations. You know, if they see certain things and want to know why it's happening. And then also input on what the public would like to see from the police department as we start to grow and get new people in, what they would like to see from us, and you know, just ideas and input.
Thank you. Anybody have anything for the police chief?
So real quick, sent out the statistics for speeding on Ronwood.
Mm-hmm.
Was that thing that looked like a
trail camera on the telephone pole?
Yeah, so it's
Okay,
a, yeah, it's a Pelican case, is, you know, small, and it's got clamps, so it'll clamp on the pole and then it points toward.
I just noticed it the other day when I was walking, I said, that's what they're talking about. Now I know what to look for, so I don't do that.
So, and that'll be going out on Gloria next, I'll probably get it up
Tell me.
tomorrow. And if anybody has any ideas of where else they'd like to see it.
And the school zone.
Yeah, I'm planning, we've done one on each side of the village now, and then I want to do a couple of plats and then we'll put it in school zone and see what's going on there.
I've seen a lot of posts and even witnessed some people just driving through there. It's crazy.
And we try to sit there as much as possible, but obviously when they see a cruiser, they don't do it. And so we talked about doing some kind of traffic surges in the morning and in the afternoon rush hours, because it's not just the school zone, it's kind of throughout the village. So trying to have some extra people on it to catch some of that throughout the whole village and try to stop it.
Anybody else have anything? Okay, thank you. Bill Manager.
It's late, so I'll try to keep this brief, and I thank you all for staying. What I've discovered over the past couple of weeks is that there's two roads in this position. One is with the seen, and one is with the unseen. The unseen is going to be my responsibility to do greater communication with the council and the residents, so that you kind of know a little bit more what's going on behind the scenes. For example, I did the Tom and Brian report today regarding the 2025 budget, where we're at, and the 5-year plan. But as you mentioned, more financial reporting or administrative reporting so that you guys are up to speed on what's happening, I don't want to say behind closed doors, but not being able to be visible like other aspects of the village. Another thing you don't see is the water and sewer, the plants. You hire the right man with Dennis. He's doing an amazing job making renovations, updates, getting rid of the Band-Aids and making progress down there. It has been neglected. It has been, I'll just stay with neglected over the years, and it's been a Band-Aid approach. But Dennis doesn't believe in that, and he's making impact and differences. And so, and his team in the service department, with all the support that they're getting. And so with that being, at times, it's all hands on deck, but that is what we get to the scene. Another unseen I just want to touch on because I witnessed it today. Vicky, Beth and Tammy, and Shannon, when she got there, absolutely amazing, during the tax season. People are paying massive bills and they're leaving with smiles because of their hospitality, their friendship, and their warmth and openness. So it's just incredible to see, and they're knocking it out. And so they are very supportive of the community. In regards to the scene, we're gonna work on hiring the police chief. I'll thank publicly Bill for his interim status. And we're gonna get third-party representation in there from the law enforcement to assist in the process. If it's with the sheriff's office, if it's with the neighboring community law enforcement to help make the most informed decision on what's gonna be in the best interest of the village. This week alone, and this month, I pledged to hire the seasonal workers to free up our service department so that they can get out and do more things and make greater impact in the parks and make improvements in lighting in the ponds or whatever it may be. And so we're going to bring in the seasonal workers, hopefully starting as early as the 1st of May. And the one I think you're going to be most pleased to hear me talk about is I will be meeting with Choice One, our engineer, to discuss how we can benefit the most with the village and the roads. My focus, and I will discuss it with them, is not to work on one road. It's to work on as many roads in this village as we can and fixing as many areas as we can. We got about $250,000 to try to address that. And so I think the more we can satisfy, the better off it's going to be than just one street. And so that will be my discussion with the Choice One engineer tomorrow. And then, as you mentioned, you mentioned, I believe it was, bringing the Darrow Patcher for the remaining areas that we can't cover, and we'll cover in-house. So again, greater communication, with council and residents and sharing what we're doing, where we're going, for not only the seen, but the unseen.
Does anybody have anything for the village manager?
Have we had anything or any response to the courthouse yet being sold?
It's at I'll do a little sales job here. It's at a great price, first of all. If anyone's interested. Tammy was, you know, out there, because I know you were tracking it a little bit closer than I was. How many people actually showed? Yeah, sorry, Shannon. I said it's late.
I don't know if you're trying to Timmy or,
No.
he did not send his weekly update yet. He said it can take up to 2 years. For commercial buildings, it can take up to 2 years. We've had a lot of lookers, but nothing yet.
I know at one point, Mr. Miller, was interested, and I think it was like Premier or something like that, at some point was wanting to do, like to see if they would be able to fit in there. I forget what the entire details of it was, but I know somehow Premier helped or Mr. Miller was interested, and at the time I did say something about it. I just didn't know if we'd had any feedback on that yet, so apparently not. But
I've spoken to Mr. Miller, and he does not have interest at this time.
okay.
There's anything from my American Legion.
Be a great spot.
I thought there was tacos.
We'll take $1 million.
Right next door.
We'll take $1.5 million for
Means
it.
of the project.
I'll wait on the tacos. Especially at Mexican. Yeah.
I'm telling you, there gonna be nothing in that building anytime soon.
Oh, don't get me disappointed.
Who owns that?
I was excited.
El Bronco.
Yeah, El Bronco, yeah.
Okay, does anybody have anything for the village manager?
Just want to thank him for, stepping in, and it sounds like we've got a lot of things in the planning, and it sounds like transparency is something that, you are about moving forward. I can't wait to see where the community grows, and, just want to thank you for your service to our great community and moving forward, so thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all there.
Okay, next is council member comments. Mr. Sayed, we'll start with you, sir.
I have nothing.
Nothing? Okay, thank you, sir. Ms. Sayed.
I spoke to someone in the sheriff's department and they, would like to do maybe like a town hall, presentation on the opioid, epidemic. If we can secure, a place for them to do that. But they would be willing to do that. I've also noticed in the town over the last few months, some probably unwanted people arriving, and I'm not sure why they are coming here. There's nothing here, so I can only think of one or two things. So I feel.
I think it'd be good.
That's something we can coordinate with Lieutenant Workman too.
Absolutely.
Work together with that. That'd be great.
I think that'd be good.
Yeah, well, police department involved as well. That'd be a great idea.
And even fire, I mean, they've got somebody over there, so they gotta be the one to. Smart hand.
Yeah,
Anything else?
that's it.
Mr. Joy, anything, sir?
Yeah, I do. Over the last year, I have been told many times by many people that I just need to get over it and move on. And I want to say that I do want to do that. And as soon as I get the answers from the questions that I asked a year ago, and see a limit to or an end to the violations that we have been dealing with over the last year, I will be more than happy to actually move on. Over the last year, I've been slandered, I've been libeled, I've been lied about, I've been informed that I am spreading misinformation. Even so far as for people to impugn my character to the point where it was insinuated that I must have something, the people that got terminated must have something over me because they're willing to, they must have me being blackmailed. And even at the last meeting that we had here, I was accused that the only reason that I'm doing this is because my daughter was fired. And to be fair, my daughter was fired. That's not the reason that and I am angry about that, and I'll be honest with you. That's not the reason. The reason that I'm angry about that is probably not the reason that most people think that I'm angry about that. And the fact is she was fired, not because of anything she did. Anything that she did improperly was because she knew me. She was related to me, and that was the reason she was fired. She got involved in this community as a volunteer, and she worked several years as a volunteer. During that time, she got involved in the summer program with the children. She learned how to take care of the garden, and she grew and donated over 1,600 pounds every year in the garden to the people of the community and to people that could not leave their house. She actually delivered fresh vegetables to their house. And that's the reason that I'm angry about this, because she did absolutely nothing wrong. All she wanted to do was help her community. And, you know, as for the fact, you know, she did that all through college, and she actually got through college, and they hired her as a full-time employee. Even though even though I could have gotten her a job that was twice as much money, she decided that she wanted to work here. So, and since she's left here, she is making more money. So I'm actually glad that it happened, if you want me to be honest with you. And it was also insinuated at the last meeting by Mr. McNamee that I knew that Glenna Madden was going to sue the village, and that it's what it seemed like to me is I had something to do with that. And, you know, the fact is that I wasn't involved in that, but it doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize that we are going to get sued, and we're probably going to get sued by more than one of those employees that was terminated. So, and as a matter of fact, Mr. Perkins in February asked Mr. McNamee if we're going to get sued, and he said, anyone can sue anyone. He knew then we was going to get sued. So the fact is that everything that he has said, especially as far as what he said about it, the lawsuit being frivolous, and I actually, you know, I was like, you know, that does seem kind of odd that he would say that. So I actually went out and looked at the definition of frivolous. And it essentially states, it says, unworthy of serious attention, trivial, inappropriate, silly, of little weight or importance, not worth notice. And the fact is that, you know, her lawsuit states why she is suing us. And there was a breach of contract, and she feels that she was defamed, and her reputation was hurt in this community. So I don't know how you could actually say that that's frivolous. And, you know, so as soon as everything happens, I mean, as soon as I get the questions, I will move on. So that's all I have to say.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Well, Mr. Beck. Really? Yeah.
Just lead on this. I don't think there was a breach of contract, as there was no contract. anybody can sue anybody for any reason. That's not just for any municipalities. I hope that Mr. Joy does get whatever he was requesting. I really hope so. You know, we've had many disagreements and I really would love to move forward. And the next thing I can't wait for is for our attorney to go after the people that have funds from your tax-paying pocket, whether it was misused or whatever you would like to label it, and recovers those funds, because I can't wait to hear the amount of funds total that were inappropriately paid. And I would thank everybody for coming out here, and hope everybody has a great evening, and that's all I have to say.
Mr. Cooper.
Vice Mayor.
No.
I'll go ahead and pass mine for those who could do it. We have nobody for the agenda this evening. Our next regular council meeting will be Tuesday, May 6th at 7:30. Do I have a motion to adjourn this regular council meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Vice Mayor Atkins,
Yes.
Councilmember Cooper,
Yes.
Councilmember Sexton,
Yes.
Councilmember Joy,
Yes.
Mayor Nickerson, Councilmember Sands,
Yes.
Councilmember Back,
Yes.
7 votes yes, no no's, motion passed.
Okay, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate it. Thank you for your time and patience.
Hey, Frontier's coming out tomorrow.
Yeah, it's fine.
I know you, and.
We watched them drive.
I haven't seen that.
They went around and we got a, saying that they not gonna. Nobody answered.
Well, I guess that kind of makes sense. What am I in? Find your way. Oh.
Have a great evening. Shannon, have a great evening.
Thanks, you too.
What you're doing. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it. Have a good evening. Reach out to me anytime if you need anything.